In the dead of night, when the moon hangs like a bloated eye over the jagged peaks of northern Idaho, a whisper slithers through the pines. What if the government isn't just watching you, but hungering for your soul, turning your sanctuary into a slaughterhouse? Or darker still, what if one family's desperate grasp for freedom awakens a beast in the heart of America, a raging militia monster that feeds on fear and bullets, growing stronger with every shadowed conspiracy? These aren't mere ghost stories to chill the spine. They're the blood-soaked roots of Ruby Ridge, a siege that clawed its way into the nation's nightmares, birthing horrors that still lurk in the backwoods and basements of the distrustful. Imagine it, if you dare. Back in 1983, Randy Weaver, a gaunt specter of a man with hollowed cheeks and eyes that gleamed like fevered coals, dragged his brood, devout wife Vicki, their 4 wide-eyed children, and a mangy hound named Stryker, up to a forsaken 20-acre scar on Ruby Ridge in Boundary County. Vicki, with her prophetic dreams that twisted like knives in the gut, envisioned this godforsaken knob as their bulwark against the end times, a ramshackle cabin where the kids could learn scripture far from the poisoned tendrils of the outside world. The logs of their home groaned under the weight of isolation, echoing with innocent giggles by day, but at night they seemed to murmur warnings, as if the wood itself remembered ancient atrocities. Randy skirted the edges of madness, mingling at Aryan Nation's rallies in Hayden Lake, denying the taint while the air grew thick with the stench of hatred, like rot seeping from an unmarked grave. Yet evil has a knack for worming in, unbidden and insidious. By 1989, an ATF snitch, slimy as a thing from the deep, oozed into Randy's circle at a World Aryan Congress, cooing temptations until Randy sawed off those 2 shotguns for chump change, crossing into the federal abyss where laws bite like fangs. The arrest in January 1991 hit like a thunderclap in the snow, cuffs icy as death's grip, but Randy bailed out, only to vanish after a clerical demon scribbled the wrong court date. A warrant slithered forth, and the Weavers became phantoms in their own lair, fortifying the cabin against an invisible horde, paranoia festering like gangrene in their minds, the dread mounted, coiling like a serpent in the undergrowth. U.S. Marshals prowled the perimeter for months, their breaths fogging the air like spectral exhalations, footsteps crunching leaves that sounded like breaking bones in the oppressive quiet. Then, on August 21st, 1992, as pre-dawn gloom clung to the trees like a shroud, 6 deputies slunk in for a peek, pulses hammering in their throats. Stryker, that faithful beast with hackles raised like spines on a hellhound, scented the intruders and lunged, baying into the void. A marshal's bullet ripped through him, his yelp twisting into a guttural death rattle, and the abyss yawned wide. Randy's boy Sammy, just 14, freckled innocence masking a storm of youthful fury, snatched his gun and charged into the fray with pal Kevin Harris, the woods alive with the crack of gunfire like demonic laughter. Sammy jerked as lead punched through his back, his small frame folding like a discarded puppet, blood blooming dark on the forest floor. Harris retaliated in the melee, felling Deputy Marshal William Deegan in a grotesque spray of crimson, his body twitching as life ebbed into the dirt. The ridge drank deep that dawn, 2 souls claimed by the growing darkness, the first feast in a banquet of terror. Now the FBI's hostage rescue team swooped in, black helicopters throbbing like the heartbeat of some colossal predator, snipers perching in the branches like vultures with rifles for beaks. Their rules of engagement were a license to kill, whispered horrors. Any armed man in view was fair game. No mercy, no quarter. August 22nd broke with a crimson dawn. Sniper Lon Horiuchi, a cold statue in the foliage, fired, grazing Randy first, the wound burning like hellfire as he staggered. Then, aiming for Harris, the bullet screamed through the cabin door like a banshee, finding Vicki instead. She stood there, cradling baby Elisheba, her face exploding in a wet ruin, brains and bones splattering the walls as the infant wailed amid the gore. Unharmed but forever stained. The cabin reeked of copper and despair, its timbers seeming to absorb the screams, turning the home into a haunted shell. 11 days of suffocating siege followed, the mountain a pressure cooker of madness. Bullhorns blared like accusations from the damned, but Randy, patched and possessed by grief, barricaded with his terrified daughters and the bleeding Harris, the air curdled with rot and rifle oil. It took Gritz, a battle-scarred mediator with a voice like gravel from the grave, to pierce the veil, luring them out on August 31st. Harris, stumbling first, then Randy and the girls, blinded by spotlights that pierced like accusatory eyes. The true abomination, though, it festered beyond the ridge. The 1993 trial spat Randy and Kevin free of the gravest sins, murder, plots, doling out mere months for lesser sins. The feds bled cash in penance, $31 million to the shattered Weavers, $380,000 to Harris. Probes unearthed rot, botched protocols, vanished files, a sniper slinking away unscathed as indictments dissolved like mist. But Ruby Ridge's malevolent spirit endured, igniting the militia inferno. A legion of gun-toting wraiths convinced the state was a shape-shifting tyrant, its echoes thundering to Waco's flames, Oklahoma City's thunderous blast, and the endless paranoia that poisons the American dream. If these unearthed horrors claw at your curiosity, leaving you hungry for more veiled truths, why not, like this, plunge into the abyss and subscribe to Behind the Veil Truths? It's the gateway to revelations that refuse to stay buried. And as the phantom winds howl over Ruby Ridge's cursed ground, know this: that siege wasn't just a tragedy. It was the unholy birth of a national nightmare, spawning armed phantoms that multiply in the dark. But what if the next awakening is already stirring? A fresh terror coiling in the shadows of today. Dive deeper with Behind the Veil Truths. Give it a like, hit subscribe for the chills from yesteryear and the shocks yet to come, and we'll drag you into the unknown, where the real monsters wait, watching